Hi, I'm Terry Murphy with Realty Times Women in Business and Women in Real Estate. And today my guest is Samantha Knorr. She's the operations manager for the Christy Buck team in Pearland, Texas for Infinity Real Estate Group. This woman is extraordinary, and not just because she's beautiful and she has two great little boys, but because she's been able to establish operational excellence for people who are in an admin situation that grow into an operations manager. No one's done it better than Samantha Knorr. Now, forget the fact that she's a spreadsheet freak and she can do, even her groceries are on spreadsheets, which is why she does what she does so well, because she handles details. And having been part of the team that wrote The 1 Minute Entrepreneur, which was a New York Times bestseller by Don Hudson and Ken Blanchard, I can tell you that as we coach and consult with entrepreneurs everywhere, details are the issue because generally the team leader doesn't like the details. So Samantha, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Terry. I'm excited to be here.
Well, you are very amazing how you are driven to sheets and organizational and timelines. You're driven literally on steroids to being totally organized, which has helped you a lot to be a very successful mom and businesswoman at the same time. Christy Buck is very, very blessed to have you, but I'd like the people listening to this to understand why there are so many agents that are reluctant, or basically women in business, to hire an office manager or administration help. Why do you think that is?
I really think there's two reasons to that. I think one, the team leaders think they financially can't afford one, is how can they hire that when they feel like they're scrambling themselves? And two, that they can do everything, that they don't need that help necessarily.
So part of you're absolutely right. I hear that all the time. Well, I can't afford it. I can do it myself real fast. But they don't realize that the difference can be thousands of dollars per hour versus, pennies, really. I mean, do you think it's because they don't want to figure out how to transition the work? What has been your observation?
I think a lot of them don't know. They don't understand what that admin is capable of doing for them. And they have no idea how to hire, where to begin. And, we've been coaching with Bro Workman with Workman Success Systems for several years now. And he's always said, if you don't have an admin, you are an admin. So, where an agent needs to be out in the field making a good bit more money, they're in the office spending their time on $10 an hour tasks where they are hurting themselves. They're making less money than that person would cost.
Not to mention the stress. When you have somebody else backing you up on the details and the checklists, or people who actually enjoy that work, it makes really good sense. And it's a great sense of production and completion. So tell us a little bit about what we should be aware of in the hiring process.
So when you're hiring the person for your admin, you want them to have a lot of detail. We use the DISC profile, and it categorizes a person in 4 different letters, as I know you're very familiar with it. And you want somebody with that high C personality, typically team leaders. If you compare Christy and I to each other, we're literally complete opposites, which I think is why we have done so well over the last 13 years. Is she's very high DI. I'm off the charts CS on the opposite end. And I think that's huge. One thing that we have learned with doing our hiring, especially for admin, is to do a working interview. Is a person can look great on paper, their resume can look beautiful, but get them in here and see how fast do they truly learn. Can they comprehend what you're teaching them during the hiring process? Simple things is sending them an application in a Word document and saying, return it to me in a PDF. That shows as the admin going to follow details. Do they have the computer skills? Agents, obviously, we're a bit more lenient than that. I can imagine most of them will probably go in and convert it, much less fill out that Word document for me. But admin, they definitely have to follow every detail before they even step foot in here to do that interview.
Well, let's just, I just want, for the sake of the people listening, if they're not familiar with the DISC system, it's a behavioral interviewing system that allows us to look at observable, natural, and adaptive behaviors. And yes, Christy Buck is definitely on the right side, and there's no wrong side, by the way, but being on the right side of the grid, being a dominant, high reaction, faster thinker. This side's more detail-oriented, lower energy looking, because they're more introspective. And you're right, that's one of the most important components of hiring a balanced team, because typically the biggest mistake people make is they hire someone just like them and they
Mhm.
like it. There's a likability factor. So when you're looking both at behavioral skills and behavioral reports, then you can tell a little bit more about the suitability. But you kind of glossed over that working interview day. You bring somebody in and they literally have to work that day, and you're observing them, is what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely. So this is after we've put the ad out, we've done the phone interview, and then we do a face-to-face interview with myself. And then at that point, if we feel it's a good fit, we bring them in for a working interview. At this time, most of the time, team leader still hasn't met that person. We try to keep Christy out of the hiring process. And so once we bring that person in, they spend the day with us, and we have an agenda. Typically, we'll say, we're going to show you these things, and then now we want you to turn around and do it. We're not looking for perfection, because we understand we have tons of systems to learn. But, you know, one lady I remember several years ago she would have been our second admin, and I thought on paper she was going to come in and I may not have a job anymore once she started with us. So she started, we didn't do a working interview, and she could barely turn the computer on. And nothing wrong with that, except if you're an admin, you're on the computer all day. So not only did we have her change her life, we spent countless hours and days bringing her into our company, only to realize day 2, it was not going to work. So now we bring them in, we see their skills, we see how they mesh with the team, we sit down with them, go over details, and just see if it looks like it's going to be a good fit or not.
And I know you have one more step. They have to make the team cut as well, correct?
Yes, so after that, then they meet the team at our team huddle. And poor things, they come into 28 team members, but they can ask any questions to the team members they want. Team members ask questions with them, and we try to make them a part of the team for that day. And then afterwards, the team discusses, we sit with Christy, decide everything final before we offer that job.
You know, you're so informative, Samantha. I have one question for you. One of the biggest pushbacks we get is, how do I find an admin? I have multiple people telling me there are no people out there, and I'm thinking, I don't believe that for a minute. What's the best way for somebody to start literally prospecting for admin help?
You know, and I started out earlier, Christy touched on it, is I started out as Christy's babysitter. I was 17, started out as her babysitter, and then I started working with her when I was 19 as her assistant. But a lot of our admin hires have been through the community. We shared the post in the community. We ask people who we know. We do post it on Indeed, but it's finding that person, you know, typically they are young, not always, but, you know, it's being willing to develop them also. If you can find the person with the right attitude, their disc, you know, looks really well, they look like they're eager to learn and hungry, as, you know, our coach taught us, hungry, humble, and then just go from there, and being okay with developing them. The Samantha I am today was definitely not the Samantha I was 13 years ago on the team.
Well, I would hope not. Yeah, because you've grown exponentially. And one of the things that I want to commend you on is your exquisite contributions. One of the things that we know is operational excellence. And in order to have operational excellence, typically what happens is whoever the team leader is, whether it's in real estate or not, it's business, is they're so busy working that they don't have time to train. And when you don't have clear job descriptions and clear objectives, then people get lost. You had a lot to do with authoring the AMP program. Do you just want to give us a light recap on that?
Absolutely. So Workman Success Systems has amazing training for all departments. A few years ago, we sat down with the Workman admin team and started developing AMP, which is Admin Mastery Program. This program is amazing. So for team leaders who have no idea where to start, I would say put your admin in that day one. It's 6.5 hours of content total for video, but it will show them how to start an operations manual, how to start an action plan. What do you do with the CRM? What do you do with leads? They're My Perfect Week. I think that is a huge start for any admin on a team.
Well, you have been such value, and we're all very envious of Christy Buck, because everybody should have a Samantha in their life. Or to get their children on Excel when they're only 3, one of the above. But thank you so much for joining us, Samantha. You're such a great leader, from 17-year-old babysitter to what you're doing now. I mean, who'd have thunk it, right?
Thank you, Terry.
You're so welcome. I'm Terry Murphy with Realty Times Women in Real Estate. Thanks for joining us, and join us for another segment of Women in Business, Women in Real Estate, or In the Men's Room with Murph next time on Realty Times. Thanks for joining us.